let's move on to boxing. Um, Austin Trout versus Miguel Cotto.
Well,
Did any of you gentlemen see the fight?
I saw the fight, but before we
So
get
did
to what
I.
happened in the fight, let's talk about Canelo Alvarez.
I'm glad
He's called out. Now,
yes.
mind you, he was at Madison Square Garden front row for the Austin Trout Cotto fight.
Yes, he was. Yep.
He's
Sitting there,
called
red
out.
as red as red.
Ginger Boy was there. After the fight, he called out everybody except for Austin Trout. Now, a couple of years ago, Austin Trout went to Mexico and beat up Canelo's brother in the ring. And Canelo vowed revenge. What's up now, Canelo? Austin Trout called you out, and you acting like the man doesn't exist. I know you can't feast on old men and bums forever. You'll have to fight a legitimate champ sooner or later. Just get it out the way, man. Even Chavez Jr. fought a legitimate champ. When are you?
Wow.
Yo, Alvarez called out Cotto. Cotto just got his ass whooped, and he called out Cotto.
You know what? Cotto's a shot fighter. He's past his prime, but I would take him over Alvarez any day of the week.
I still would pick Cotto in that fight because Alvarez is easy to figure out. He comes forward. His one gift, he has power. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. But let's focus on the Austin Trout Cotto fight because Alvarez disgusts me. Now,
well, you know what? Before you even get to the fight and whatnot, I just want to say I want to talk more about Canelo because I got some stuff that last minute news and boxing. I'm gonna bring up once you finish your stuff. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, man. First off, Cotto look a little weather beaten. He's been through wars. He'll never be the same. But in that fight, he still had popped him. The thing that damaged Cotto in that fight is it was a stylistic nightmare for Cotto. Cotto cannot fight a guy that's a better skilled boxer, bigger, stronger, and faster. Cotto took Floyd to hell because him and Floyd are basically the same size. With Trout is a better boxer, and he's bigger and longer than Cotto. Cotto wasn't going to win that fight no matter what. So he made a good showing of himself. He got his ass beat, but he made a good showing of himself. I ain't going to diss Cotto.
There's some people who put Cotto in the same sentence with Ricky Haddon, talking about he was finished. I'm like, okay, he lost. Let me finish. He lost the fight, but I would never put that man in the same sentence with that bum Hatton.
Styles make fights. It's just thing with Austin Trout. Austin Trout reminds me of Vernon Forrest, his fighting style. Thing with Austin Trout, he's a better inside fighter than Vernon Forrest, and he's not
as long. He's not as long as Vernon was.
Yeah, and he's a great outside fighter. That's a stylistic nightmare for somebody that's a boxer puncher with short arms like Cotto. There's nothing he could do except get a lucky punch against somebody like Austin Trout.
And he couldn't get it. He couldn't get in. He tried.
When he came in to get in the inside, Austin Trout just wrapped him up and then do a couple uppercuts. Don't get me wrong. I give Cotto 3 rounds out of that fight, but he lost. He lost decisively. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but for all you blind fans, I'd stop going with nationality or race. Go with skill. You'll always be let down if you just vote with your heart instead of your head.